the true identity behind a haunting expression of agony, eternalized in death, has baffled archaeologists for more than a century since a set of unusual remains were first unearthed at the Deir El-Bahari mortuary temples in Egypt. Experts say the so-called screaming mummy was preserved in a manner never seen before. His limbs were bound in leather, and the body wrapped in sheepskin, indicating it was considered to be unclean. And the mouth was left agape, as if had been poisoned. After years of speculation, recent research suggests the remains belong to the disgraced son of King Ramses III, who plotted to kill his father and was sentenced to death by hanging. The body was buried near royals at the famous tomb site on the west bank of the Nile, according to the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities. But, while others were wrapped in white linen and carefully mummified, the screaming mummy was simply left to dry out in nitron salt, with some even poured into his open mouth, and covered with sheepskin. The body, also known as unknown man, is now on display at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo for the first time. It was first discovered in 1886, and experts long suspected the mystery man with the anguished face had been poisoned. But subsequent analyses in recent years indicate this may not have been the case. According to the Egyptian Antiquities Ministry, markings around the mummy's neck show the person was likely hanged. This lines up with the ancient texts on the harem conspiracy, detailing the plot by Prince Pentawari and Queen Ea, the pharaoh's son and second wife, to kill Ramses III. DNA extracted from the bones of both the unidentified mummy and Ramses III indicate the screaming mummy is Ramses I's son, according to Ukram Online. The gruesome mummy of unknown man, also known as the screaming mummy, has long puzzled scholars. Egyptologist Zahi Hawass, the former Minister of Antiquities who led the Egyptian Mummies Project, told Al-Akram Weekly. Such unusual mummification has perplexed Egyptologists, and no one has succeeded in knowing the story behind such a mummy until the launch of the Egyptian Mummy Project several years ago under my direction to create a complete database of forensic information related to the mummy collection at the Egyptian Museum. The death of Ramses III was a gruesome one, and many mysteries still surround the details of his murder. CT scans showed that his throat was slit and his big toe cut off, likely in an attack by multiple assailants. While the papyrus suggests the conspirators were arrested, the events of the trial were not accounted for, and it remained unsaid whether Ramses III was actually killed as a result of the plan or not, according to the Antiquities Ministry. The text only contains a cryptic phrase that translates to "the royal boat has turned upside down." Whether the body truly belongs to Prince Pentawari or not, the experts say its burial was one of unusual circumstances. Two forces were acting upon this mummy, one to get rid of him and the other to try to preserve him. Bob Breyer, an archaeologist at the University of Long Island in New York, told National Geographic following an examination on the body in 2008. The body is on display alongside a gilded mask and a beaded shroud recently returned to the museum by the United States.